going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new and exciting episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by the household of Allie, Genevieve, and Derek. I think Amanda's in Ireland now. She's back this week. Anyways, doesn't matter. She's not here. Also, our pop culture correspondent, Natalie Joy, is with us as well. How's everyone doing? I know how you're doing, babe. Right?
This is my last pair of jeans that could almost button, and then Nick encouraged me to just wear them unbuttoned. So I did.
Well, she was just, you seem uncomfortable. I'm like, just unbutton that shit, babe.
Yeah, I do feel like I was smushing her a little bit by that top button. I had to a little, you know? Mm-hmm. Before it was okay. Now I feel like she's like cramped in there.
But she's like a human being now. And by a human being, it's just like she has fingers and toes and little arms. And
her little burp on the ultrasound.
I like to think of it as a hiccup because, you know, like hiccups are definitely cuter than burps. But
just gassy.
Apparently you can feel when they have like full-on hiccups.
Really?
You can feel it in your stomach. Yeah.
Well, pregnancy update for y'all. We have a really great episode. We have two of the couples.
Okay, I'll shut up.
The more we have Alex and Kat, and we have their arch nemesis, Roxanne and Antonio with us. I enjoyed talking to them both. Some really good updates. I'm not going to give too much away.
I think my opinion's changed, though.
Do your opinions changed?
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Well, I don't want to give too much away.
Of course. We want people to listen to the whole episode.
Yeah. Well, before we get to the couples, I don't want to give anything away. Happy couples? Not happy couples?
Ooh. Only time will tell.
Are they still couples?
Are they still couples?
Oh. Are they couples with someone else?
Ooh. Oh. Did they do a little switcheroni? Maybe.
I don't know. What do we want to get into just real quickly before we get to the
I
couples?
think there was kind of a funny update on the Joe Jonas, Sophie Turner front of the like fake Elvis, the Vegas Elvis, like married them, came out and it was like, I'm shocked, I'm devastated.
I, like, above anyone, couldn't believe this would happen. I married them.
I know them better than anyone.
They were married. I forgot about that. They were married by an Elvis, which they don't do any. Didn't they cancel Elvis weddings in Vegas?
There was controversy from the Elvis estate.
Yeah,
they
from
were
Graceland.
Like
saying this isn't cool.
They're like, you don't have the rights to his likeness.
Don't imitate.
So
the late
can
Elvis.
You do that now?
I think they have to pay like a fee.
A free.
Yeah.
Maybe their marriage was doomed from the beginning. Maybe it was the ghost of Elvis.
Oh my god! Came and destroyed it.
Yeah.
Also, he said,
"What happened to your relationship?" The ghost of Elvis.
Also, he said at his concert, "I just want to say, if you don't hear it from these lips, don't believe it."
Maybe he should tell his team to shut the fuck up. Overnight, it seemed like the tides really turned.
In her favor?
In her favor, yeah.
I feel like
by
they
doing
were
nothing.
always in her favor, though.
Well, maybe.
For a split second,
but
I
guess when the first reports came out, it was like, oh shit, like Sophie doesn't love her kids. It was, it was like
she parties and she's making out in front of a ring camera.
It was just like there were just a lot of cryptic accusations seemingly coming from his team that at least attempted to paint her in an unbecoming light. And all she has done is post the joint statement.
And let like the fans come to her rescue and like pull up clips of her being like, I'm kind of a homebody. Joe really he's a social butterfly.
I will say though, there's still fans posting Joe videos of like him singing Hesitate on tour. And it's like how Joe so bravely is getting through singing this. And you can see the torment on Kevin's face as his brother has to get through this song. Like I've seen discourse on both sides.
Yeah. I mean, the Jonas Brothers have an army of fans that are many of which are always going to be loyal to them forever. Anyways, the power of saying nothing and, to your point, Genevieve, letting your fans do the work for you. This is advice I give to people who come on the show sometimes when they're fraught with scandal. I just tell them, take accountability, be hard on yourself, and let your fans come to your defense. Usually works.
Yeah. Or go on The Masked Singer, like Tom Sandoval.
Is he really on?
It really
He's really getting that
be
Fox fall lineup in. He's on Special Forces with me, premiering September 25th.
I feel like that we won't be shocked to find out which one is. I feel like we'll know who
Right?
he is right away.
It's a very distinct.
Stacy's mom. Like we'll just know.
Schwartzy's mom.
Yeah.
Schwartzy, can't you see?
They do little like intros for all of them, and his says, "Usually I'm pretty pumped, but I've been lost in the abyss." Like pumped, Vanderpump.
Oh, that's
and he
that's
said,
kind of on the nose.
I'm the
I know,
most hated
creature in the ocean right now.
Which is exactly what he said in the Special Forces promo of everybody hates me. I just want to get beaten up.
Well, they're not even trying to hide it.
Creature. Yeah.
When is its premiere?
We can hear Diver's voice on the premiere Wednesday, September 27th. Got to tune into that.
Wait,
He's
so
going to have a big week.
Tom's
2
having a
days
big week. He's on
later.
Special Forces on the 25th, and then he's on The Masked Singer on the 27th
But
on
then
Fox.
this is curious. Here's our first clue. For this clue, you'll have to look to the sky, and then they show a picture of a cardinal. Does that mean anything
Maybe that's his
to us?
mascot.
Maybe it's just like his favorite bird.
Where's he from? To St. Louis?
St. Louis.
There you go. The
What
Cardinals,
does that have
right?
to do with
Yeah,
anything?
the
The
Midwest,
Cardinals.
the Cardinals baseball team.
Fucking genius.
Okay.
They're not even making this hard.
I should work for the
they
FBI.
Want him, they want him. How do you get voted off? The Masked Singer.
They guess you, right?
But I feel like they'll want him to stay. Do we think there's going to be some producering going on where they're like guessing
I
wrong?
think-
It's a
that he
voting
stays?
system. The least popular contestant then takes off their mask.
My guess is that with Special Forces being what
Panelists
it
and
is,
audience.
you're just again we're in this true simulation that isn't in any way influenced by producers, and so obviously Tom did what he did, and you'll have to watch to find out. My guess with Fox, my guess with The Masked Singer rather, is that both of them they casted Tom. Assuming he's on it for, obviously the press and the media, and it's a great get because people are going to want to watch. But I feel like with Masked Singer, he'll be on like 1 or 2 episodes because they're making it so obvious it's him, and people will tune in for the first couple weeks. He won't get the votes, I'm guessing, because I don't think he's going to, as he mentioned, not the most adored person right now.
Creature in the sea.
So I'm going to predict he's not on very long on The Masked Singer.
You know who might not be in prison for as long as we thought? Todd and Julie Chrisley have both received reduced sentences.
Do we think
Okay.
that's based on good behavior?
Probably. I feel like that's usually what happens, especially when you see like celebrities go behind bars. Don't they? I feel like oftentimes they get sentenced a certain amount and they never actually serve that full amount.
Yeah, that's pretty common. Obviously, and this is like a white collar crime where there were no acts of violence and things like that. So in situations like that, I feel like it's often reduced. Well, we'll get to ask the expert, and by expert I mean their daughter, Savannah Chrisley, joins us on the Viall Files, also part of Special Forces, and Savannah will be with us. So we'll get the latest about all that family drama and what that's obviously been like. Savannah is, basically, not even basically, taking care of the entire family, and I can only imagine what that's like. And so we'll get to talk to Savannah Chrisley about what that whole experience has been like. I'm sure very challenging and hard and traumatic, but we'll get an update from her on all the things that's going on with the Chrisley family.
So we're actually going to jump into the Danny Masterson case. So just a trigger warning, this is a very sensitive subject and a very sad case.
The whole Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis story when it comes to Danny Masterson is wild to me. And I know I'm not alone here, so it's like I feel like everyone shares this opinion, but I'm just kind of shocked that they wrote this character letter for Danny Masterson. And I know like they're friends with him, but it comes across as so out of touch. For anyone who doesn't know, Danny Masterson was recently convicted of raping 2 women. He was accused of more crimes, and then he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. And I didn't like follow this case all that closely, but from what I can gather, it's a pretty
Open and shut case.
open and shut case. Like I didn't feel like his innocence or guilt was really all that in question.
I also get so they said that his family reached out to them and said, could you write a character letter on behalf of Danny that the judge will read? It won't be something that's like read to jury. It won't be something that victims will hear. This is only for the judge to take into consideration. I did not know what the letter said, but now reading it says, Ashton Kutcher said, I do not believe he is an ongoing harm to society. Having his daughter raised without a present father would be injustice in and of itself, which I find to be extremely bizarre. Like,
Yeah,
First of all,
why do you get to decide that?
he's been accused of so many terrible crimes, and you think, like, no, he's over it. Like, he's done now. And also the fact that he has a daughter is even more scary.
And what's so a bummer about this is that I've only heard good things about Ashton and Mila from like people who know them, who have met them, their public persona.
I have met them. They are wonderful. They are so kind. They're so nice.
Yeah, I've only heard good things about them. And so this is such a, again, I get being friends with someone. And loyalty is a huge character trait for myself, but this is like the ultimate, well, they didn't do anything to me attitude, which I kind of fucking hate in general. We always love to do that. It's just like, well, they weren't mean to me. So like, I don't want to cut them off or like set a boundary or whatever it is, which is in itself a bit of a selfish, self-centered mindset. But like, imagine your neighbor gets accused of like murdering 5 people, and there, those cases where like, well, they always seem normal to me, it's just like, sure, maybe they were normal. Maybe they were active participants in society and volunteered at the local church. Who gives a fucking shit what good acts they did or how they were nice to people if they, behind closed doors, were literal monsters and violently like hurt people. I can't imagine like being like, oh, well, you're cool to me, like.
But also the fact that Ashton is the co-founder of Thorn, and that's like the sex trafficking, but he has been such a voice for victims. I feel like this is just very out of left field.
I don't understand why Ashton and Mila wrote this, and despite it was only supposed to be read by the judge, but they were friends with this guy, and this guy was, it's been known for a long time that he was accused of these terrible crimes, and they've been like friends with him the whole fucking way. Topher Grace with a win, though, because apparently, and I didn't know this, but I do know Topher, that he never really hung out with that cast outside of filming the show. And now there's a lot of commentary in terms of maybe Topher Grace was always kind of new. Anyway, this is just a crazy fucking story. And really, it's just sad all the way around. It's hard for me not to look at Ashton and Mila the same way, because I'm just trying to understand, how could you support this person in any way unless you actually thought he was being wrongfully accused? It's hard for me to believe that, as smart as they appear to be and in the know, that they could look the other way with something that this evidence seems so damning towards Danny Masterson. Just a sad story. Just a bummer. Congratulations to Chris Evans and his new wife, Elba Batista. Sorry, Chris Evans stands out there. He's married.
I'm sad.
Do we think Scott Evans officiated the wedding? Because as he said in his episode with us, he has done that for their sister. He officiated and sang at their sister's wedding.
Probably.
So he has his ministry license.
But he had to sign an NDA. All guests had to sign NDAs, and their phones were forfeited. So we will have no sneaky pics of that ceremony.
Can you bring up Jimmy Fallon's apology?
It's embarrassing, and I feel so bad.
If I've ever mistreated anybody or made you feel bad, that was not my goal. So on the apology rating, I'd give that a C.
So he's been accused of toxic workplace.
Well, he's just classically known for kind of being drunk and
Really?
yeah. If I did this to you and you felt a certain way about it, then I am sorry. I wouldn't call that world-class apology.
No.
He goes, I feel so bad, I can't even tell you. We'll try.
Well,
Why
he
don't you
definitely,
just try?
So Jimmy's
he
the
definitely
victim.
wrote this. His PR team did not.
Jimmy's the victim.
I'm just surprised it wouldn't be a little bit of a stronger apology from him, considering you have kind of a case study of the Ellen situation so recently.
Yeah, but I will say apologies don't really do you any good in this arena. It's not a good apology, but I don't know if a good apology would have done him any good. I've never seen a public apology where anyone goes, that was good. I feel satisfied. Let's move on, everyone. They have apologized. No one.
I do
And they
think,
should,
though,
but
we
they
didn't
don't.
move on from it, but we all discussed how good Raquel, now Rachel's apology was.
We did acknowledge there were some good parts.
There was
to
just,
it.
I feel like
Yeah.
that compared to this was more specific. There was more, I'm going to investigate why I do these things, why I seek out these men.
Yeah.
There was less if statements.
I don't think it was a good apology, but it was probably the smartest thing he could have done. Because this one is like, hey, my bad. I'll try to like act a little better. Like miscommunication. Sorry. Like we'll get on the same page. But yeah.
This is random, but like, do y'all remember your first injury?
How'd you think of that?
I don't know. It just popped into my head.
My first injury.
Pregnancy brain.
I remember some early injuries. I don't know if they were my first. I got a scar right here. I remember how I got that. Really cried.
How?
I was cleaning the garage with Dad, and he was banging some wood, like a wood frame, and it fell on me.
Oh my God.
It's pretty deep. I used to brag. I told all my friends you could see my bones.
Could you? Or was that a lie?
It was kind of deep. I mean, it left a scar to here to this day, and I was
Did you get stitches?
No.
Then it probably wasn't to the bone.
Yeah.
That sounds like a stitches needed
This
situation.
sounds like
Yeah.
graham cracker biting the finger
I'm
and
sorry.
needing
Were
to be
you
turned
there?
in.
Yeah, I was.
You know, that
You
is
were.
all
It was
notepad.
1924.
Literally. It was so long ago.
Well, when was
Crazy.
yours?
Well, thank God that you asked. I've literally been dying
I mean,
to
you
share.
asked the question.
That was clearly the point of you asking the question.
Are you gonna?
Okay.
You're talking about last night when I sprayed your
Oh,
food?
no. But Nick was trying to poison me last night. I
Ooh.
was, side note, I was trying to enjoy the last piece of pizza with a piece of sausage on it. I took it off of another piece of pizza to put on the one that I had. Made the
Like
perfect
it was a custom piece.
bite. It was the
Yeah.
perfect bite.
Love that.
Nick just starts spraying counter spray on the counter where
Oh.
I'm eating.
I was trying to get ahead of the cleaning. I was trying to be helpful.
He's like, actually, babe, right on that piece of sausage.
He's like, here, did you want a little bit more? Yeah. And it was in my mouth. It was on my pizza. I've never been more upset. Anyways, no.
So all
If I
night
do
long,
die, it is
she's like, you know
because-
what I really want right now? It's fucking pizza.
Well, I did. When I was, don't know how old, quite a child, I found a turtle outside,
Okay.
obviously. And I had been playing in the sprinkler in the front yard. So I was in a swimsuit. I was in like a little two-piece. And the mailman comes. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to show the mailman my turtle that I just found. And so I'm showing him the turtle. Well, I have the turtle held backwards. And he's a snapping turtle. And he bit my stomach so hard. I had to go to urgent care.
Well-
But I think that's why I wanted to be a male woman for so long, is because
Did he save you?
kind of.
Oh my God, that's hot.
Did he
That's
take
why
you
you
in
like
the mail
men
truck?
in uniform.
No, he just took me inside to my mother.
Oh, he didn't do that much.
Well,
Oh, this is why like you like UPS men, you like the uniform.
You took the pickle jar to him.
Literally, it's all
Yeah.
coming full circle. That is crazy. My inner child has been speaking to me this whole time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go get me a uniform.
Wow.
You could go as one for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natalie will go as the pickle jar.
Or the turtle.
Yeah, which one is it
Which
going
one
to
can I
be?
make sexier?
a
With a bump.
little ninja turtle.
little pickle jar.
Yeah. All right, anyways.
All right, let's get to kick it off with Kat and Alex first. It's the calm before the holiday storm, but you can prepare your e-commerce platform for the holiday rush by just using ShipStation. If you are running a business of any kind, doesn't matter if you're making widgets and gadgets out of your garage, or maybe you have taken the next step and you are shipping products out of a big warehouse, doesn't matter. ShipStation is helping you increase your profitability. ShipStation can help you increase your profitability by automating your shipping and returns in the ShipStation dashboard. ShipStation does so much to increase how you get your product out to your customers, the customer experience that they receive. And if anything goes wrong, ShipStation gets you great analytics and insights into how to solve those pesky shipping problems. And the best part is ShipStation is giving you shipping costs that match those usually reserved to the big Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies. And if you have an e-commerce business, if you're shipping products, you know that probably one of your largest expenses is your shipping costs. So do whatever you can to reduce those, and do it with ShipStation. ShipStation is so easy to use. It integrates with almost all e-commerce platforms like Shopify. Set your business up for holiday season success with ShipStation. Go to ShipStation.com and use code VIALL today and sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's a free 60-day trial when you go to ShipStation.com and use code VIALL. ShipStation.com, code VIALL. ShipStation, make ship happen.
We are a Canva household. Truly, I think, Nick, wouldn't you say that not only your show, but your social media, our marketing materials, they've really just skyrocketed since we've started using Canva. I feel like
would say so, yeah.
The quality, the way we pull people in, because it's not only just the graphics that we project on the show. We want to make sure our social media channels are all using the highest quality of materials. I've started utilizing Canva to use video graphics because they not only have, still images, but motion graphics and things that move. And Canva for Teams is another great feature of Canva, which helps us all stay connected because it's not just me using Canva. We all use Canva, and we want to make sure that no matter who is taking a project from start to finish, or maybe we're helping each other out in the middle of it, that we're all on the same page. No one's doing duplicate work. Everyone's using the same colors and graphics. So you never even really know who has exported the final project because we're just all that synced.
Canva for Teams streamlines how you do social media too. You can plan, create, and share social media content directly to your channel from one place and even schedule posts ahead of time. Canva for Teams has a video editor that is easy to use with tons of filters, animations, and transitions that bring your group content to life. Canva for Teams also enables you to take your presentations to the next level with professionally designed presentation templates. Plus, their remote control features means you can virtually connect and navigate slides from any device. Collaborate with Canva for Teams right now. You can get a free 45-day extended trial when you go to canva.me/VIALL. That's canva.me/VIALL for a free 45-day extended trial. Canva.me/VIALL. Alex, Kat, welcome.
Hello. Hi.
Good to be with you all. We enjoyed this season. It was a lot of fun. I guess my first question for y'all is, because I know, with these shows, You Love Is Blind and The Ultimatum, when they film it and then when they air it, there's obviously some time in between. You guys are, I'm assuming, still together, right?
Yep.
Great.
We're still together.
Yeah, I'm still engaged. All right. We see the ring right there. Congratulations to you both. Round of applause. How long has it been since the reunion?
Not long ago, about a month and a half. It was in early July.
The dust has settled. It's been a couple months. How has this impacted you guys as a couple? And then how has it impacted you guys as individuals?
Since the show has aired, I feel like it's bonded us a lot, maybe kind of like trauma bonding. I'll try to go to work and I'll be like, no, I feel like we need to be together because it's no one else really understands what it's like,
Sure.
Being in such a crazy situation and it being so public and so many people having opinions. So we've really bonded a lot through that.
What have you guys done to avoid outside opinions? Because I certainly know what it's like. Do you guys have certain boundaries with each other? Do you encourage each other to stay off the internet? I mean, it's also kind of a cool experience to be on TV and kind of become famous overnight. So it's very tempting to read that stuff.
It's pretty tough, but we're pretty good at reading each other and just being understanding. So sometimes I'll just be like, hey, I'm sensing you're a little hot or a little bit off or something. So Kat will be like, all right, let's turn the phones off. Let's just be a normal couple. Go out to dinner, hang out, whatever. And then if we want, we can go back and read comments or whatever.
Gotcha.
But taking a nice break and just being aware of, hey, this is tough for both of us. Just being there for each other and talking through it. And if something does come up and it strikes a chord, it'd be pretty easy for it to let it divide us.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll take the extra time and be like, hey, let's talk through this. Let's actually make this a way for us to bond and be closer and have better understanding of each other.
Did you guys watch it together? When it dropped on Netflix, or did you have a chance to watch it before, or what was that like?
We watched right before the reunion.
Okay.
And then they say, okay, get on stage. Let's hash this out. We watch separately.
So you guys don't even watch as a couple. You guys are in separate rooms.
Separate rooms, yeah.
No phones. We're just secluded with an iPad and just binge watch the whole thing.
You and your thoughts.
That's, honestly brilliant.
It is, yeah.
So you're sitting there for 9 hours?
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a really long time. Did you get to watch it on double speed at least? Probably not.
I know, right? And I was like, I want to watch the whole thing beginning to end, everyone's like scenes, like Ryan and Lisa and Brian. So it was a lot to watch at one time. I've never watched a show so fast.
Just breeze right through. Alex, you come across as a guy who's, very sure of himself and very confident in his thoughts and what they have to say. You came across as harsh at times. I think I even gave you a hard time on the old Instagram and said you gave me the ick. Don't worry, people said worse about me. But I guess I'm wondering, is that who you are? Do you feel like you came across on the show? Did you see yourself? And Kat, did you kind of see Alex through that? And did anything surprise you about yourself after watching it?
It's a good question. I would say for sure, it's dialed up past 11 a little bit, but it really pinpoints things that like are personal character traits that like I was pretty much already aware of, but obviously everyone's a work in progress and always will be. Shined a light on things that I need to work on a little bit more.
What would be something specific that you watched back and you thought, yeah, fuck, I do that?
Well, there were a couple of those. Harshness, like timing, like kind of reading the situation, reading the room in the moment and being like, hey, like, how can I take some of the bite out of this is probably the most specific one. Like Kat to know like words of affirmation, they mean a lot to her. And I want to give her words of affirmation because I love her and I want her to know those things.
That was definitely a tough one to watch, the whole love language element. So are we now on the same page that love language is how your partner also receives love in addition to how you like to receive love?
Yeah, it's just as important, if not more.
Okay.
It's something I've always struggled with, but I had known this before and I had been working on it, still working on it, probably work on it to the day I die. You can always get better at loving your significant other.
Do you feel like this experience humbled you?
Yeah, I've been humbled many times in my life. This is certainly one of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways to view it, but you have to view it and take a moment to like understand like who you are as a person. And this is dialed up a little bit, or I'd say quite a bit, but you still need to come back and look at it and be like, hey, I can improve. You get to look at yourself from this weird third-party view perspective that very few people get, like such harsh scrutiny on, but take it. Like it's an advantage that you get to use and like work on yourself. So I think that's a lucky thing about the show is being able to understand that much about myself and about how I work in a relationship and how Kat and I work together.
Kat, what's the sweetest thing Alex has said to you since you've been engaged?
Since we've been engaged and done the whole process, I think him seeing the contrast to me makes him appreciate me a lot more, kind of like sees my strengths as like more than weaknesses. Like he says I'm like very calm, confident, which I'm like, that's, I think, a really sweet thing to recognize because I think a lot of people don't recognize that like calm people are confident as well. You
came across as kind of very demure and very sweet. What sides of you do you feel like weren't portrayed? Because in reality TV, they are limited, as you guys know, in time. We kind of get siloed into certain characteristics. And part of it is just limited in time, so we kind of turn into these characters and then they will harp on these certain personality traits. I'm sure you're a sweet person, Kat, but like, do you feel like there are other sides of you that you didn't exactly get to kind of show to the audience?
Yeah, I appreciate that, bringing that up, because I feel like you watch yourself, on the show, and I'm like, you didn't get to know me at all. But I think I get compared a lot to my trial partner, which I think he's a great guy, but I think it was kind of inaccurate of myself, kind of getting grouped with him as unmotivated and undriven. And I was like, I also have a career. I was working a lot during filming as well, but I don't think that was highlighted.
Why did you guys sign up for this? Like, how did that all come to pass? It's a very interesting concept, and it's a brilliant show. But like, it's one thing to sign up as an individual, is like, fuck it, I've been single for a while, why not? You guys being in this relationship, it was a big risk for you guys, big risk for the relationship, but certainly one that seems to have worked out for you guys. What was the motivation, and how did that process start? This
is going to make us sound crazy too, but we started dating. I think I was 25, Alex was like 29, and we had never had a breakup and we had never spent any time apart because I'm a travel nurse. So we would go places and we knew no one there. So we would just kind of be just together. We would have so much together time.
For 2 years straight.
Okay.
We still are, but
Yeah. And so Alex has a theory that everyone that he knows that has a strong like marriage and relationship has had a breakup. Like his parents broke up before they got married. His brother and sister-in-law did. And we were like, this is a really cool opportunity because it's a controlled breakup. So we were like, let's do it.
Test us when we're apart is kind of the mentality, but it's just a good way to like test a stress test relationship before you dive into the biggest commitment of your life, which you were saying I'm like a little too confident in myself, but that's because I spend a lot of time like considering these things and talking through them and stress testing as much as I can so I can be super confident in my choice.
I don't know if you're too confident. You were just when you spoke, you seemed very sure of yourself, regardless of like other people agreed, you know, you're like, I don't need to tell you this. I'm like, okay. But it's an interesting thought. I mean, there is some truth to what you're saying. You know, I mean, a lot of people, especially with the way you guys described your relationship, kind of this young love, you're inseparable for 2 years. And I think a typical kind of roadmap for couples is to have that kind of 2-3 year honeymoon phase, get engaged, get married, not really experience any stress or conflict. And then they have that experience inevitably in marriage and don't know what to do. So do you feel like you got out of that experience what you hoped, you know, in terms of, obviously you mentioned early in the interview, you know, ways that you could work on yourself, but how has this bonded you guys? And more specifically, how do you feel like this has helped you guys work through conflict?
We had never really been tested separate. Like we were always traveling in a little car together onto the next thing, onto the next journey. So we were being tested together forever, you know, and that was like, we were doing that no problem. We kind of wanted to be tested separately. So like, did we get what we expected out of the experience, the experiment? Sort of, not in the way that we thought that we were. You know, we went in thinking, oh, like we're going to go give these trial marriages a real effort, like really find out like, you know, are we right for each other? Ultimately, we do figure that out just in a completely different way than we thought we would, because, you know, we basically swapped with Roxanne and Antonio. I think they were pretty close during the trial marriage. Like they were staying in close communication a lot of times when we were trying to like, hey, like, let's really cut the cord. Let's give this thing the full experience. And we still came out the other end like, hey, we're just as in love, if not more. We figured it out. Like we need each other to be better and just better people.
So that's interesting that they were communicating, Antonio and Roxanne, during the trial marriage. Is that kind of part of the reason why you guys called them phony?
A little bit, yeah. So I knew they were like texting as well. And I was like, well, I don't want to talk to Alex because I, you know, want this real experience of seeing if we do miss each other. So I was kind of felt like, I don't know, it's like a little alone in my trial marriage because it's like, I don't have someone to lean on, but he does. And it's like, what did you come here to do if you're still going to be in communication during your trial marriages?
So was it like Antonio like sneaking into the bathroom and like texting Roxanne or on the phone? Like what was that? What was going on there?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I guess we don't have any like solid proof. Well, I do know they were texting or like if they were hanging out.
Well, they do. I mean, after I delivered some harsh news to Antonio, she got a text. I mean, or a phone call, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we all saw that.
Yeah, he ran to her in the middle of the night, which I assumed you guys were living in the same like big apartment complex. So when he was running, I was like, are you going to block? What's happening?
He was in a hurry.
It was a couple blocks away, yeah.
Okay.
It was like we had separate buildings, but the same complex.
Alex, walk me through the thought process of when you decided that you were going to tell Antonio that Roxanne didn't respect him. How did that all come to pass?
It took a couple of weeks for me to figure that out. For me personally, like I'd rather have some hard truths and kind of get my feelings hurt with truth rather than like some comforting lies. But we're pretty separated from the other cast members besides our trial marriage partner. And so we really don't have a chance to like interact and like, hey, like here's what I'm learning about myself, or here's what I heard from Roxanne. You know, you get a pretty limited amount of time to say it. But the way I came about it was just through conversations with Roxanne, just kind of like hearing like the way she talks about him. You see with my parents as well. Like this isn't how I would want to hear about myself from my partner. So I felt like it was just worth telling him just because I'd heard it so many different times, you know, in different ways from Roxanne. I was like, I feel like I would want to know that.
What were some of the ways that she spoke about Antonio that we didn't get to see?
it was more or less what you got to see. Sometimes harsher off camera. I don't see that in Antonio. He's pretty outgoing. He might have been on a bad path in years past, but like now it sounds like he's working on a business. Like he's motivated. He's trying to do things with his life.
I think you said he would stick up for him too.
Yeah, it'd stick up for him a little bit behind the scenes. So it shouldn't have come as a surprise to her, really. Wasn't shy about it when I was like, I like Antonio.
Was it more like her just kind of talking down to him? Because like, listen, we all can get frustrated at our partners, right? Like sometimes they're the person we spend the most time with, and sometimes we can joke. How is it different than just kind of your normal kind of venting to maybe your friends about your frustrations with your partner versus Roxanne giving you the vibe that she truly just like didn't really respect him?
It was just like pretty relentless. It was like, okay, you say it, you're venting, whatever, everyone's got their flaws and you got to get out somewhere somehow. But it just like kept happening. It was like almost daily. And I was like, man, I don't see like you liking this guy all that much. Like, he's a cool guy. He's great, but he's just not meeting your needs, Roxanne. You're just kind of bashing him and like dragging him through the mud for it. I don't know. It was just through many, many different conversations, kind of analyzing our own relationships and Roxanne and I's relationship as we're going through. I was like, this doesn't feel like just venting. It felt more like this is something like deep rooted. Like I don't respect this guy, or maybe she's not even aware of it, but I don't know. It just felt like it needed to be brought up.
So yeah, because it was interesting watching the dynamic between both couples. I was the most fascinated with that dynamic just because, and again, I don't know how you feel about this, but watching it seemed like you two, kind of represented this more traditional kind of relationship, gender roles, where again, Alex, you were portrayed as like the guy who's just like career focused and it's just the worker guy. Again, you came across as more set in kind of traditional gender roles, even like when you were talking to Roxanne, be like, I don't fucking clean a toilet or shit like that. And then you had Roxanne and Antonio, where Roxanne, woman working in the workforce who really wanted to work, but she was dating someone who seemed like he wanted to be the one who was going to stay home and take care of the kids, so to speak. It came across as this almost like case study of like old traditions and kind of new traditions in relationships. Kat, maybe I guess this is a question for you. Do you feel like you have those kind of traditional values, or is that part of where you felt like the audience didn't really get to see all of your kind of characteristics in the dynamic of your relationship?
I know. I'm surprised you had that view too, because I was like watching, I was like, we really get stuck in that just traditional like gender roles. But we've had times too where like I'll be the one working really hard because I do 12-hour shifts as a nurse. And Alex will be the one that's doing our laundry and cooking and making sure I'm good to like go and make the money. So we'll kind of switch off. So I think we kind of got stuck in that role for TV just to show a drastic contrast. And another thing I was just thinking of with Alex not cleaning toilets, I think he's cleaner than I am. And I think at the girls' night, Roxanne said something like, oh yeah, Alex is super clean.
I'm probably catching one of the most amounts of hate online for that is like, oh, you don't clean. I'm like, Roxanne says I clean and that I'm very clean. Then comes home and says, you don't clean. I'm like, I say 99.99% of the time I'm cleaning, except for like when I have something else going on. Like I'm pretty clean as is. I was confused by that one.
You're getting shit just because of your harsh sound bites. I think it was really the love language conversation that really was an L for you.
I feel like he definitely got cut very harshly. I was like, oh, you didn't see the whole conversation, but because he was very honest.
Yeah, I mean, reality TV is not very forgiving for direct sound bites.
Which it makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of is what it is. What do you think of Roxanne now, Kat?
I hate like talking trash about people, but I guess if I'm being honest, I don't think she's a good person. It kind of confuses me because a lot of the times, some in the show you saw, some you didn't. I think you saw on Girls' Night, she was like, telling me all this stuff about Alex, and it looked like I was agreeing, but I was kind of like more just like taking it in and trying not to be biased. But she loved me then. She was like, oh my God, Kat, we'll have to hang out, leave Alex, and we'll be best friends. And I was like, okay. But like the second I would like stand up for myself and say, I don't agree with what you're saying, she just like turned. And I think that's how she is in a lot of situations. If you're agreeing with her, she loves you. But the second you don't, she's like, you're done, you're cut. I'm going to ruin you kind of thing.
Did she ever threaten you like that?
Yeah, more or less whenever I was like standing my ground to her, she was just kind of like trying to insult me and just like kind of say anything to get me to stop.
Damn. So did she really say she would ruin you?
She didn't say she would ruin me, but I feel like she tried to. Just like bringing up things like with Alex, be like, oh, well, Kat, well, Alex is unsure about you. Antonio hated being in a, trial marriage with you.
Wait, so Roxanne told you both that Alex not a fan of you, and then said that your new, temp boyfriend also hated you?
Yes, which I was so confused. I was like,
it's fucking
okay,
harsh.
I mean, I thought we had a pretty good time, Antonio and I. Like, we obviously, like, we didn't fall in love, but like, we were friends.
No, that's I don't mean to laugh, but I was like, I thought we had fun, Like,
yeah,
it is confusing though. Like Kat or maybe like Alex, you have a better idea of like where this resentment towards your relationship is coming from, because it's like it is very strange. Despite like she can have her issues with you, Alex. Like if you guys didn't have a great trial marriage, like whatever. But it's just strange that it's coming to you as well, Kat, and your relationship.
It just felt like classic, pretty much bully tactics.
Why do you think they're together? Listen, not everyone is like super career focused, not everyone is super money motivated, they're just like, it's just not their thing. They have other priorities in life, and maybe that's Antonio. It sounds like you guys liked him, and he has like some nice and, he's a cool hang and yada, yada, yada. It seems like Roxanne, despite her complaints of Antonio, that she likes him just kind of being there to be agreeable to her. It's like Antonio's like a personal assistant, but also her lover. That's kind of my read, but I wasn't with them.
Yeah, I don't know either. I could see that. It's like, she tried a trial marriage with Alex and realized, okay, I can't walk all over Alex. He'll talk back to me, but maybe she's able to with Antonio. I hate saying that because I feel like people would say that about me too. And I'd be like, no, I don't get walked all over. But I do know, I think he tell you that he told her she could just accept a proposal and just get a ring.
Oh yeah, that like accepting a proposal is just the next step. It doesn't mean that like you're stuck together forever. Something like that was kind of a little bit of a vibe, I think, that he was pushing. Like he's in love with her. That's cool. I gotta respect him. I could take a page out of his book. Like show more love, words of affirmation, things like that. I think he gives Roxanne a lot of credit, which it sounds like it's due, because he was not on a great path before. I mean, he said this endlessly. He wasn't on a great path, but now he is, because Roxanne, kicked his butt and got him going, and that's amazing. And maybe that's why they're still together. But I do think there is a time and place where you're like, okay, like if it were me in Roxanne's shoes, I'd be like, okay, hey, look how great you're doing. You're top notch now. Like this is amazing, and not like lord that over him. That's just my 2 cents, again, opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I look forward to talking with the two of them, because I am curious. It's just, I'm wondering, I'm curious if Roxanne still feels frustrated to have a partner that doesn't share the same motivation that she has. And I'm wondering if that's still a priority for her. Maybe that's changed. Did James introduce you guys to any new kind of kinky bedroom antics? Did he share in his love for extracurricular activities, or was that all revealed at the reunion?
That was all revealed at the reunion. I didn't know that they were kinky at all. If you like meet them, you're like, they're super sweet high school sweethearts from a small town. I was like, I didn't expect them to have any kinky fetishes, but I thought that was pretty cool.
What were your reads on the other couples? Anyone surprise you? Was Roxanne and Antonio the biggest surprise about? Because like everyone got engaged. Kind of shocked. I was a little bummed, to be honest. I was like, I want one breakup.
Yeah.
Like, I want one messy breakup.
I wanted Ryan and Trey to get together.
You wanted Ryan?
I will die on that hill.
They would be a cute couple.
They would be a cute couple. I think James and Ryan, they were locked in from the beginning, pretty much. It was like, this is a sure thing. We're just going through the experience. Not knocking them in any way, but they're in love and it is cute. And they seem like they're made for each other. Trey and Raya, I think, again, they should be a great couple. They are a great couple. So no real big surprises. Actually, I'm a little bit surprised Brian and Lisa aren't engaged yet, or at least there's not maybe another ultimatum for Brian. babies shake things up for sure, but like, I don't know. Where's that going to end up? Where's that going to go?
With Ryan and James, you mentioned that they were in it from the beginning, kind of going through it. Were you guys open, the two of you, to the possibility of breaking up? How open were you to truly just letting this whole experiment and this experience kind of play out the way it was going to play out? You know, because for you to say, oh, Ryan and James were in it from the beginning, it sounds like your impression was they were never really considering anything other than ending up together. And I'm wondering, were you guys open to that possibility?
Yeah, we were. Well, we went into the experiment. We were like hoping that it would, or at least my end, I was hoping it would end in an engagement because I gave Alex the ultimatum.
I was hoping that too. We were pretty confident, but we wanted to go through the experience legit. But like, do we actually want this? Like, let's do this as a double check. Let's really go through it, you know, give it all it's worth, and, you know, find out in the end, like, are we ready for it? Turns out we are. James and Ryan, I think they went through it. And then I think James very quickly was like, not that I don't need to go through this, but like, I figured it out. Like, I'm for sure in love. You know, like, what am I doing here?
You know, James was like, after he's like away from Ryan for like 6 minutes, was just like, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. I'm just thinking about my girlfriend.
Like, ew. What did you guys have any boundaries or rules or expectations around physical intimacy of any kind? Did you guys give each other a hall pass, or were there kind of like, hey, yeah, I know we're having a trial marriage, but you better not fucking do X, Y, or Z?
Yeah, we did have some boundaries because we were like, okay, we're going to like actually really put ourselves into the trial marriages, because it's like, if something goes wrong, it's like, if you think about it, it's like you're ready to get married and you meet someone and you know them for 3 weeks. And it's like, if you're going to like fall in love and go all the way with them, it's like, okay, Alex and I don't need to get married if like I can fall in love with someone else so quickly. But we did have some boundaries with that. We were like, okay, nothing off of camera, which it's hard to know. I know you can be like, nothing off camera, but it's like, that's all, like, you wouldn't see it anyways. But we're like, okay, a kiss is fine. Sleeping in the same bed is fine. Cuddling's fine. Hand holding's fine. We're like, sex we weren't okay with.
I like that you guys said nothing off camera. I mean, that's like, I wasn't even thinking about that, but that makes sense. It's like, all right, if you're going to do this, you kind of almost like hold yourself accountable and do it on camera rather than kind of being sneaky. TMI question, but was the first time you guys had sex after the experience like particularly awesome? Do you feel like it really bonded you guys and connected you guys?
We live pretty close to where we filmed. So we left and went home. Just like, okay, we're going to be totally normal just for a second, like get a breather.
No, I think we did it in the closet.
Oh, we did it in the closet too.
The closet where? In your house?
Yeah, in our apartment.
Okay.
In the apartment we film in.
That was off camera, actually. That one was one of the rule breaks off camera.
I don't remember. Neither of you kissed, did you? Right?
No.
Did we even hug?
I know. I never saw Antonio with his shirt off, actually.
I'm guessing Roxanne had more rules for Antonio.
I asked him if they had any rules from the beginning, and he was like, no, I would just be really upset, you know, if anything happened with Roxanne and Alex. But I don't think, he said they didn't have any set rules.
Was it as awkward on stage filming the reunion between Antonio and Roxanne as it felt for us watching it?
Yeah.
It was.
Nick and Vanessa pretty much grilled them for like 2 hours. I'm like, what about all these rings? Like, why are we not wearing the ring? And it was a little strange.
Crazy. Just one more ring. Like, what's the big deal?
She's like, ew, my engagement ring.
And then he added rings to it. Like, how much money did he spend on that fucking ring?
I don't know.
No, we actually went to a jeweler after we got engaged. The lady was like, oh, Antonio from the show was also just here. And we're like, oh my God, he did get a ring, because we didn't know if they had gotten engaged or not.
Because that was the big deal too. She was like, well, I don't want to wear it because I don't want to be the only one wearing the ring. Why doesn't he have to wear a ring? And I think James was like, then get a ring. Like, you get a ring. I have a ring.
Antonio would wear so many rings if that meant Roxanne would wear one ring. He would just be like ringed out. He would wear a ring on his neck. He'd wear a ring on his neck.
Hooping everywhere.
Yeah.
All these rings. I have some friends that do that. They'll be engaged, like have long engagements, and their fiance will wear a ring too.
Yeah. Do you think they'll ever get married? If you're a betting man.
Yes.
You do?
No. But I wouldn't be very confident in that bet. I wouldn't put a lot of money on it.
Yeah, I could see them
The
doing
dollar.
it to prove a point.
Okay.
Do you feel like Roxanne wants to get married? Do you think that was kind of a cop-out? How did you read that situation, being the one that had those conversations with her when it came to marriage and commitment and long-term relationships?
It felt like she kind of flipped on a dime, pretty much like, oh, yeah, I guess you can be a powerful, successful person and be in a relationship. I was like, yeah, like most powerful, successful people are in relationships and have kids. So it's not like it's holding you back. But she like very quickly kind of flipped the script on that. I was like, oh, like I guess you're right. Like maybe I would consider a relationship. But the other part I think that's interesting is if Antonio was to like take control of the situation, like, be the power man that she wants him to be, I don't know if she'd give him the power to do that. Like allow him the grace, like the time to go out and be like, hey, like I got this successful business now, or I'm going to take control of the situation. I don't know if she'll give him that.
What do you think Roxanne and Antonio would say about your guys' relationship?
Nothing nice.
I don't think they would
It's
say
as
anything nice.
simple as that.
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't think
Why-
Roxanne
why-
has it in her to say anything nice.
And why do we think there was so much animosity at the end of the day between the two couples?
I think because I struck a chord and said something that was fairly obvious but needed to be said. I just happened to be the messenger, the first one to say it. And then the second thing is when I stood up to Roxanne essentially in that big fight scene that I think is very well misunderstood, but I stood up to her and she was immediately like, oh, like I can't stand you. I hate you. And that's like the immediate switch that happened. Kat, she's the worst. Alex, he's the worst. Like, just nothing there for us.
Kat, when Roxanne said those things to you about like basically telling you no one likes you, which is such a juvenile thing to say, was that after Alex confronted Antonio or was that before?
That was after.
Okay.
Yeah, before
Yeah.
she wasn't like trying to take digs at me, but that was all after.
So do you feel like it was a response to Alex? It's like, all right, well, if Alex is going to talk some shit about me, I'm going to do this the same.
Yeah, which I don't know. I'm a little confused because I feel like at like the girls' night we had that was on the show, she was talking a lot of shit about Alex too. But it's like she was so mad that Alex, said one thing about her. But I'm like, you did the same thing.
What did she say about Alex?
It was stuff like, oh, he doesn't open. He's such a liar because he said he opens my car door, but he doesn't, which is weird kind of tradition thing, that he says he has to work all day, but then he'll take a little nap. And so she said she doesn't trust him because he lies. It was just like on and on, like all these like negative things.
I love naps.
Roxanne would hate you then.
I guess my read watching it back was that someone like Antonio is a better match for Roxanne than someone that she claimed that she was looking for when the show started. I don't think she would ever be happy not being the leader in a relationship, as much as she says that she likes initiative and things like that. I just think she doesn't fully appreciate maybe what Antonio is bringing to the table. But here's the thing about Antonio. Clearly, he does lack motivation. He does come across as a bit incapable of getting through a day. He was portrayed as kind of a loser, I guess, is the most simplest way.
Yeah, I don't think that was fair. He's motivated. He was starting his own business, or I think he has started his own business. He had motivations. I think he wanted to be like a video game Twitch streamer and like had some notoriety there.
Okay.
I don't know if it was big, but so it was maybe misplaced motivation. And maybe that's what Roxanne helped him see is like, hey, like put your energy towards something else, something that's a little bit more realistic. He's not a loser. I think he's a good guy to hang out with. He's charismatic. He could certainly get through a day and, do a lot of good with his life. Maybe that was him in a past life, which I think he alluded to a lot, but I didn't see that.
Okay.
I thought he was a strong dude.
I think since living with him, because I know he was trying to start the right direction with something. I think he was trying to buy into a franchise when I was living with him. And he was putting in like the work and he was putting in effort trying to plan dates for us. So that's why I think I told Roxanne one time, I was like, I know you want Antonio to change all these things, but I was like, I see him like really trying and he's doing like a lot of work. And I felt like she wasn't giving him any credit.
What
and
did she say to that?
Like, I don't think she really said anything to that, which is surprising because she says a lot, but I don't remember her really. I remember in that time her just wanting to talk shit about Alex. And so I would be like, oh, let me like,
glossed over it.
It's interesting that Roxanne was so comfortable talking shit about Alex to you, Kat, because to me that tells me that she's very comfortable talking shit about Antonio. It was also like a nice little win for you, Kat, when Antonio was so frustrated. You were very quick to defend Alex, which I'm assuming, Alex, that must have felt good to hear, because it's always kind of it's a scary thing to like wonder what your partner says about you kind of behind your back. You know, not all of us are lucky enough to be in relationships when our partners will kind of stick up for us behind our backs. And it doesn't seem like Roxanne does.
I know on past seasons of like the Ultimatum, there's been kind of like some people have stayed friends afterwards. Are you still close with like any of the other couples? Do you hang out?
Yeah, great
Is there
question.
anything like that?
Yeah.
Like kind of like after the fact, or is it everyone kind of just on their own?
yeah, we've hung out with Trey and Raya and also Ryan and James after the show, and they're fun. We like both of them a lot.
And is it separately? Is it like weird between Trey and Raya and James and Ryan? Separate? Yeah.
It was separate.
I think
Yeah.
there's a little bit of something there. We didn't dig into it at all, but you could a little tension maybe.
Yeah. Which
It's just weird dating your other partner's partner. It's like you just stay clear of that situation. I think it's probably the best way to handle
Yeah,
that.
and then
Yeah.
with Trey kind of saying he caught some feelings for Ryan,
Yeah.
it can be tough to hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to make a group text and be like, oh, let's all get lunch this day, together. And I was like, oh no, that might be awkward.
So what's next for you guys? Do you guys anticipate a long engagement, a short engagement? Do you anticipate, kids on the way? Where are you? Are you going to kind of take it slow? What's next for you guys in your relationship?
Yeah, so we have a wedding date. It's May 2024. So getting closer. It still feels really far away.
Exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank
you.
you. I appreciate it. And then I don't know. Yeah, Alex has a nephew. And so all of our families are like, have kids now. Just go ahead and have kids before you get married. But we're going to still wait.
Yeah, take your
We'll
time.
wait. We can be patient.
How,
But we do want probably 2 kids or so. Check back in 4 years. Probably 1 or 2.
Final question: would you pull over and help them? What did Antonio say? We would
You got a
stop.
flat tire?
If they had a flat tire, if Roxanne had a flat tire, because it seems like you guys are fairly fond of Antonio, but if Kat, if you saw Roxanne on the freeway, would you pull over and help her change a tire?
I would. Yeah,
Okay.
I would still pull over and help her change a tire.
Would Roxanne help you? Because that was Antonio who said that,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like Roxanne participated in being agreeable.
I don't even know if she like nodded her head to that.
I don't know. I don't know if she would help us.
She was the one who
Maybe.
slashed the tire in the first place. Just
She
kidding.
probably would. She'd slash it and be like, yes, it worked.
You said it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. We wish you the best of luck. Thanks for putting up with our questions, and congratulations on your engagement, and good luck for the rest of the way. Congratulations on setting the wedding date, and best of luck to y'all.
Thanks,
Cool.
Nick.
Thanks
It was
so much.
surreal doing this. I watched you on The Bachelor a couple of times, so it's cool to be able to talk.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, just some advice to you guys. Just enjoy each other. Don't read your press. Don't go on Reddit. Don't read your comments. Other people's, they don't know who you are or anything about your relationship. So all you're going to do is be responding to strangers who know nothing about you. So that's the best thing you guys could do is never read your own comments or press. And
I
fight.
feel like
So
you have-
true.
You'll never win fighting with the internet. And the only appropriate response to the internet is no response at all. 100% of the time.
I feel like you have good advice for that. I was telling Alex, I was like, I feel like Nick was cut to be a villain a couple of times. So,
Oh yeah.
I might relate.
Yeah, you got nothing on me, Alex. Yeah. I got you.
Go back and watch.
I got you beat
Yeah.
pretty hard. Well, best of luck to you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, that's Kat and Alex for you. They had a lot to say. They seem happy though. Seem in love.
Yeah.
I feel like Alex knows that he messed up. He felt humbled. It seemed like he seemed genuinely humbled by how he came across.
I would agree. They had a bit of humor about it, which is, nice that they're not taking it to heart too much. I wonder if that also means that maybe they didn't learn quite as much.
What do you mean?
I feel like he had a bit of an attitude of like, the editing got me, rather than like,
I could have been better in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really jump on when I asked for specifics. I was disappointed he didn't lean into it a little bit more. You know, I would have liked him to say, you know, there was that one time, that scene, that was a real miss for me.
Yeah.
You know, I was really embarrassed by that specific thing.
Yeah.
He kind of stopped short of that, but I do feel like he recognizes that his behavior was off it.
Yeah. I feel like they'll be okay. There was that one moment where you asked Kat how Alex has like better loved you since this experience, like what he's done specifically. And I feel like there's brief panic that flashed through. They didn't really answer that one so specifically. But I feel like they'll
Tough
be
question.
okay.
I mean, on the
I feel
spot,
like they'll
right?
be okay.
I feel like she would have a great answer now.
They seemed more in love than I had guessed, which is a good sign.
On the same page too.
Yeah, on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, let's check in with Antonio and Roxanne, see how they're doing, see if they come across just as in love, and just I guess what do they think of the whole experience? Antonio and Roxanne, everybody. Aura! We are thrilled to partner with Aura. Let me tell you, Aura is an all-in-one online safety solution that helps protect you and your family from identity theft, financial fraud, and online threats before they ever happen. With Aura, you can rest easy knowing that someone is looking out for you. Did you know that data breaches, wow, God, this is alarming data. There were over 1,800 data breaches that exposed personal information of over 422 million individuals, victims of data breaches that are easy targets for all sorts of cybercrimes. So you got to protect your data. You never want to deal with that type of identity theft. What a traumatic experience. If you ever have, you know that it sucks. Well, let Aura help stop that from ever happening. And if you unfortunately are a victim of identity theft, let Aura and their white-gloved fraud solution team help you navigate credit bureaus, help you initiate credit freezes or locks, and work with you around the clock to resolve it. Aura offers a suite of tools to protect you and your loved ones, including real-time alerts on suspicious credit activity, computer virus protection, parental controls, a VPN, and a password manager. It's a comprehensive online safety solution that provides almost every tool you'll ever need all in one place. I'll tell you what, ever since I've been using Aura, it just gives me peace of mind. So do what you can to protect yourself and do it with Aura. For a limited time, Aura is offering our listeners a 14-day trial plus a check of your data to see if your personal information has ever been leaked online, all for free when you visit aura.com/VIALL. If you do nothing else, just go to aura.com right now and get that free kind of checkup and see how secure your data is now. That's aura.com/VIALL and sign up for a 14-day free trial and start protecting you and your loved ones today. aura.com/VIALL. Certain terms apply. Be sure to check the site for details. Hey, have you ever sitting at home with your partner or your friends and just being like, what should we do tonight? What should we do? Well, let Today Ticks get you to some of the most exciting events that are going on in your area.
I think sometimes when people are like, especially planning trips to a place like New York, they might want to see a show and they're not sure, how do I get the best price for these tickets? And you think, okay, I have to go in person or maybe like show up to the box office and beg for tickets to get the best prices. But you can actually still find the best price tickets on Today Ticks. And then you know for a fact that you have your tickets, you're ready to go. It takes stress out of that travel. And so then you could really plan your trip. Make sure that you're going to the shows and events you want to go to and you're getting the best price. So you can rest easy on that. And you can do it two ways. You can either download the app or visit todaytix.com. And it's such great deals. You can get savings of up to 40% off Broadway tickets. So yeah, you can check out online or in the app, get your tickets with ease. And it's not just for today. It's not last minute tickets. So you can get tickets for today, tomorrow, next month, whenever you're looking to plan a trip. And you can find pre-sales, 24-hour offers, digital lotteries, and discounted day of tickets. Truly, it's so fun.
See the shows you've always wanted to see or discover something new that you'll love just as much for even less. Go to todaytix.com/VIALL and use code VIALL to get $20 off your first Today Ticks purchase. That's promo code VIALL at Today Ticks. That's TODAYTIX.com/VIALL for an additional $20 off your first ticket purchase. TodayTix.com/VIALL. Antonio, Roxanne, welcome. How's it going?
We're making it day
Good.
by day.
Day
Very
by
good, man. Thanks
day.
for having us. Happy to be here.
Great. We're very excited to have you both. Roxanne, you said day by day. What has this experience been like for the both of you, like following the release of the episodes, the Ultimatum? Obviously, a lot's happened.
Yeah.
How's it been for you guys?
It's been a wild ride. Yeah, it was crazy watching the show because that was filmed a while ago and a lot's happened since then. But it's been crazy. You know, a lot's happened since we filmed the show. I feel like a lot's even happened since the show has come out. Our lives are constantly progressing and changing. So it's just been a real wild ride seeing the feedback and what everyone thinks about us. And
A lot of noise.
A lot of noise. A lot for
Yeah.
the two of us.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we're glad to have you. Hopefully we'll clear some stuff up. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Get to know you both kind of outside of that bubble. Watching it back, I guess is the question for both of you. What was the hardest thing for you guys to watch?
I mean, it's just tough to watch the whole thing, to be honest. There's no one part that I was like, oh, I feel so good after watching that.
I think, we can just go ahead, get on with it. I think seeing how mean I looked was really tough. It seemed like I wasn't even watching myself and who I am through a lot of it. A lot of it was me, actually. And then a lot of it was really hard to watch with the meanness. And, every episode, it looked like there was just complete disrespect to Antonio. That was really hard to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely kind of seemed like you hated him sometimes, for sure.
I love this fucking guy, man. It sucks. It sucks. I mean, at the end of the day, and this is kind of what we've been telling even our friends and family, because it's still a show. And even though they know us, we have to remind people that the premise of the show is not this, we're super happy and you guys are filming us trying to do a honeymoon.
Yeah, it's not like a highlight reel of a relationship by any means. I think if anything, it's the opposite. It's like everyone's on there because there's things in their relationship that they wish were better, and that's kind of all we talk about.
Yeah,
like while we're there, it's what everyone wants to know about, if it's what everybody wants to hear about, and there's just a complete focus on the aspects of the relationship that it's maybe the worst parts of the relationship.
We took it seriously. Like we took this very seriously. So all we talked about was the worst parts of our relationship, and that's very vulnerable because that it showed. I think everyone would agree it showed exactly what our issues were.
All you do is talk about how bad, your relationship is. It's pretty easy to
just
get
the
impression that like she hates me or, vice versa. So
you never seemed like you hated Roxanne much. It was
just me.
Yeah. I kind of realized what I was saying there as soon as I said it, but yeah.
It's okay. You opened up by saying a lot has changed even since you guys finished filming. What has changed about your relationship?
It's almost unrecognizable from before. We're better than we've ever been by miles.
Even post show. I mean, experience like this can either break a couple or make them stronger. And since the show has even been out, it's only made us stronger because we're like, wow, that's really not us at all. We are so happy and we're not toxic and we're just good. And I think the show helped us even get better though. I mean, since the show, our relationship has been better and better and better.
And I mean, we've heard all the noise too. We've taken a lot of things that people say to heart and we try not to. We did listen to y'all's episode on us. And I think that you guys are so skilled in your ability to just kind of like dive into things and the questions that you guys were asking. And I thought you guys had some pretty good insight into it. There was a few things we didn't agree with.
Well, listen, I mean, yeah, when we watch these shows, we're simply responding to what we see on TV. We don't know y'all. But I am curious, what from your perspective did we get wrong?
I got some examples. You want me to do like real examples?
Yeah, specific. Yes, specific.
Okay,
yeah.
Specific. So one of them, the car business.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah.
I'm obsessed with cars and I love cars. And I was so excited.
You're like, yeah, fuck cars. You're like,
I love cars.
I mean, I did like cars, but like,
you're like, well, when I was like 10.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's how it came out. It's just like,
did you like eat a bad sandwich that day, Roxanne? Were you just like grumpy?
I think I got 30 minutes of sleep the night before, and it was a very tired 24 hours. It was tough. It was very tough. The next day after the reunion, we left and we were in his car training for 2 straight weeks. Like I was in there learning how to tint cars, wrap cars, doing ceramic coating.
She eats that stuff up.
Yeah.
She loves it. I think you were just kind of like,
I'm
A little
maybe
bit-
just moody,
a little
man.
mush brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mush
You're
brain.
like, well, 10 years ago I did that. And that is true.
Well, 10 years ago, I moved to Detroit. I moved to Detroit 10 years ago and worked at Chrysler. And that's what I was trying to get across. Like, I worked in a car plant and I was trying to say I did it and I loved it, but I'm not doing it now.
Gotcha.
I think she just forgot to say she's excited.
Yeah. I forgot to be like, this shit's awesome.
Yeah.
Antonio, I got a question for you. Since the show has wrapped, how has Roxanne made you feel loved?
There's a new level of trust that she has for me. I don't think there was ever disrespect from her. I will say, and we've talked about this, I think there was a lack of respect early on. I mean, she obviously, her values and what she's wanted in a relationship has never changed. The difference in her demeanor about our relationship is this deeper sense of trust that she has for me and my capability as someone who can just go out there and get shit done, you know, and run a business and be the leader and have people follow suit and look to me for all the answers. And that's something that I've always had deep inside of me. It just kind of took falling in love with somebody to bring that out.
So do you feel like she motivates you then?
Initially, yeah. But now I get that just totally from myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was like very keyed in on a aspect of who I am that I hadn't fully embraced early in our relationship when we first met. And she never lost sight of that. She never gave up on that. I mean, you know, we broke up and stuff like that where, you know, I thought that I couldn't do it. And we would always come back and, you know, she was like, you know, you can do this, like, do it. Come on. Like you can, this is so within your wheelhouse. You know, there's just a lot of context that people don't have about our relationship. And there's just no way anyone could know without just talking to us or being there.
Well, we're talking to you now, so hopefully we're
So let's get it. Let's get into it.
Roxanne, what is something about Antonio that you've learned to appreciate?
I've always thought Antonio was super intelligent. That's why I pushed him so much because I thought he wasn't reaching his full potential. Maybe, and I think you guys said this, you know, I pushed him maybe too hard or, you know, it was just too much. And I was trying to get him somewhere he couldn't. So all that I loved about him. And I knew this, the intelligence, the kindness. But I think more recently, something that I've really come to appreciate about him is that he's going to do what he says. And I never trusted him. And I think that's where that disrespect came from. Because he is a man of his word. And I never really took him for that. Whatever he says, he's going to do. And that's just something that's incredible because I think you don't see that all the time in a lot of people. And in the past year, especially, everything he says, I'm like, okay, I'm going to trust this dude. He says he's going to do it. So here we are. And that was a big thing we didn't have, especially during filming. So that's a big one for me.
What do you mean, especially during filming? Do you feel like, you know, obviously that situation and environment that you guys got put in can certainly test your trust in a relationship. It can test your kind of individual triggers and insecurities and things like that.
Yeah.
What about that situation? Where do you feel like you got most triggered and where do you feel like your worst habits got kind of highlighted?
Again, it was just the delivering on promises when we're filming. It's kind of hard to do that because the context of the promises that I was delivering in, I can't really move forward in life when I'm like sequestered on a set, you know, like sure, you know, and I did make progress, but like it really slowed everything down. And so for, you know, the extent of the filming, she's like, if she has any questions about anything, it's like, you know, well, I haven't gotten to meet with this person. I haven't gotten to set this up. I haven't gotten to do that. And like, she's like, well, you told me this, you told me that. And so there was definitely some frustration.
Because at the time when we're filming, you know, I was still, as y'all all freaking know, I was working. I don't even like saying that anymore. I wasn't working. I was working. He wasn't at the time. He was only filming and no one saw that. And for me, my love language is acts of service.
I thought you were going to say your love language is working. That was
Wait a second. Is that on the list? That's one too.
So anyways, I'm sorry. Your love language is acts of service. Go ahead.
So it was really hard when he had no job at the time, but he can't move the needle. There was no needle moving whatsoever. We had nothing that we could go off of.
I guess, what do you mean you couldn't move the needle?
So I took a big risk and a big chance doing this show. The only way that I could have done it is for me to just straight up quit my job. So I did it. I quit my job. I applied for a loan and then I started looking at franchises to see if I could make something happen. And initially I was, you know, I could tint windows. And so that was kind of in the back of my head. So I bought a car wash to turn it into like an automotive styling center. So at the car wash, I'm going to be like tinting windows and stuff like that. Again, I just quit my job, took a big risk, and I was like, I promise you this is going to work out.
So like you got casted for the show, and was it more like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to be on this show. Let's see if we can, get a business going. Obviously, going on the show gives you an opportunity to get a platform and market it. Was that kind of the goal?
I mean, no, I don't think that what I'm doing really has any synergy with this. I honestly just thought that this would be such a good opportunity for us.
I mean, we would have never been engaged.
Yeah.
Period. That's what I always tell people. And they're like, do you regret it? I'm like, no, it was really tough. All this feedback is wild, but I probably would have never been engaged at this point in time to Antonio if we didn't do the show.
And to be clear, we're happy we're engaged?
Yes.
Okay. Roxanne, let's see those hands. Let's see those fingers.
Lots of rings.
There's lots of rings. That's an engagement ring on there. Yeah.
Wow. What
Yeah, I've
changed
been wearing it.
What
I've been wearing
changed
it
your
since
mind?
the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was it just shame that changed your mind, or?
It was deep shame and hate comments.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I'm not a name brand. I've never focused on that stuff, like designer clothes and big diamonds and name brand stuff. And a big fancy ring has never mattered to me. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, he even upgraded the ring. I can't believe she's still not wearing it. She probably asked for a bigger diamond. None of that is true. I just didn't ever think about wearing one. I never thought that a ring made me more committed to him. I was committed to him after I said yes.
Set the record straight. I didn't buy those extra rings with the intention of coupling them with the engagement ring.
Yeah, it was
it was a birthday gift.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, these would look really cool, like around the engagement ring. And I was like, yeah, totally. Yeah, totally.
I wear it because it's important to him. And if it's important to him, like a lot of things that have changed, if it means something to him and he's like, yo, this shit means something and I'm not going to die from it. Yeah, I'll wear the ring. It's important, like whatever. He loves the ring, so I'll wear it. I'm starting to like it. It's kind of like I'm taken.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, which is a weird thing to say. I never thought I'd be like that, but here we are.
Roxanne, like obviously this, like even talking to you now, it seems like you have this kind of uncomfortability when it comes to these kind of maybe traditional getting engaged or things like that. And on the show, you talk so much about, your desire to work and your ambition and things like that. You listen to the, kind of our synopsis and we kind of talked about how the kind of juxtaposition between what seemed to be traditional values and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were accurately represented like that?
So first thing, I would say, yes, the show accurately depicted me in the sense that I do want someone who is driven, power couple. I would like to be that. Yes, I do think that is a true representation of who I am. Now, in my head, it's 2023, right, Nick? Like things are different now. I feel like in this day and age, you can kind of choose what kind of relationship you want, really. From the beginning, for me, what I've always wanted was just an equal relationship. I just wanted to be with someone who financially was equal and in the household was equal. That's what I wanted. And he knew that from the beginning. I never said, I need you to make more, or I want you to stay at home. I just wanted everything to be equal. We both grind and then we both power couple grinding, but we both share all the household duties. And that was something he was okay with. He was like, I want to be that. Yes, I do like that he is softer and we are different personalities. And it was really cool being with Alex, who was more of a type A like me, because I realized I don't want that. And I think, Nick, you mentioned that. I think Antonio's personality might be good for her. He's just something like that.
Watching the show, it seemed like you came in looking for an Alex, only to realize that you needed an Antonio.
Yes, and I do think that. I don't think I would ever mesh well with a type A like me personality ever. So his personality type, it's just perfect for me.
Do you guys think you speak to each other the same or differently since the show, both to each other's faces and behind each other's backs?
We've gotten better on our delivery. There's this depiction of me as this like kind of doormat personality.
He pushed back on me. I was like, they didn't want to show one time you were pushing back on me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm very quick on my feet. I don't just like get stunned when someone comes at me with aggression. Like, and not to say that she is aggressive, but I mean, like, you know, when you're arguing, when you don't see eye to eye on things, sometimes you do get heated and sometimes your, you know, voices get strained and stuff. I think if anything, we've dialed that back a lot since the show.
What did you all make of, obviously, the Alex of it all? Because to be honest, I can't help but wonder, as tough as it might have been to hear Alex say what he said to you, Antonio, and I'm sure it wasn't fun to hear, and obviously that created a lot of drama. Do you think in any way that brought some awareness to your all's relationship and made you guys want to make any adjustments?
I don't think that he was wrong for feeling the way that he felt.
Okay.
I still think that he took his inference a step further. I think he made a small jump, not a big one. I think he made a small one. I think he accurately keyed in on the fact that there was some turmoil between us, definitely some feelings of maybe inadequacy. I think words are super important, and I just don't think he chose them wisely. I think for him to flat out say she does not respect you was the jump. I don't think that there was truth to that. I think the reason that it got such a rise out of me is because, as I mentioned earlier, there was a lack of respect in our relationship, you know, before the show. And I don't know, it's tough because there's definitely some truth to it, but like, I don't know. I think it was just hard for me to hear. And
yeah,
I mean,
going back,
that's the thing.
I don't think I
is-
would have blown up the way that I did.
It is hard.
It's literally like my kryptonite is that specific like topic.
Well, that's why I kind of
So-
asked, because it is hard to hear, right? And you're
Mhm.
even saying there is a bit of truth to it. And you're both here as a couple, obviously engaged. And you started off by saying things are as good or and better than they ever have been. You know, as tough as that is, I'm just wondering if maybe that was a hard truth or semi-truth or whatever you want to call it that made the two of you say, we don't want either of us to feel that way about how we treat each other, and we don't want other people thinking that we treat each other this way. And as tough as it was, I'm just wondering if there's just a small hint of, I don't know, not necessarily appreciation. I'm not saying you should send like Alex a care package, but like, you know, it's like when the dust settles, it's like, you know, maybe that wasn't the worst thing, as hard as it was for us to face as a couple, because it had some positive results. Do you feel that way?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, there's a really sound argument for that. And I think I would be remiss to flat out deny that, as hard as it is for me to swallow that little bite of humble pie. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's more for Roxanne, really. I mean, you know, she was the one being accused of, I guess, the wrongdoing.
Let's talk about facts, Nick. The facts are, when I'm living with Alex for 3 weeks and we're going through intensive therapy and talking about all kinds of deep shit together for 3 weeks, the stuff that's not good in each other's relationships, him talking about Kat, me talking about Antonio, of course, after that was the end of the 3 weeks pretty much, right? So in his head, he's like, she just does not think he's ever going to be what she needs. She does not respect this man, because we had so many heart to heart, just him and I and a camera crew, talking about all kinds of stuff, you know, and his synopsis of the 3 weeks of Antonio was, she doesn't respect you, dude, which makes sense that was the summary, right? Because we're talking about hard stuff and I'm always like, yo, this is what I need from Antonio and I'm not getting it. And I get where it came from, but in that heat of the moment night, it all just seemed really disingenuous. And I think that's why everything blew up that night.
Do you have any thoughts or regrets on how you interacted with any of the other cast? Like, it seemed like the tension between the two of you and Kat and Alex, it almost seemed like after Alex said what he said to Antonio, that almost lit a fire under you. Did you take out any of that frustration on Kat or anyone else?
No, not on Kat. You know, the girls' night that everyone saw, again, I'm very direct. I felt I'm my harshest critic, and I was super upset that she thought I was being disingenuous with trying to help her. Like Alex was, I guess, Antonio, I was trying to help Kat. Same thing, I guess. Kind of all circling together if you think about it. I really, really was worried and thought maybe she was in a relationship that wasn't good for her, like girl to girl. I just wanted to tell her, this is what I think about Alex from my living experience with him. And I hope you're okay and happy. That was my intention. That was it. No ill will. I was just trying to help her. Her and I are opposite. So I think it was just really hard to get any kind of point across the way that maybe she would hear it in a good light.
Now that the dust has settled between the two of them, how do you still feel the same way?
I don't know. We don't interact with them at all.
I think the truth is, I think it's the same thing as like an Instagram comment from somebody. It's like the person leaving the comment, they don't really know what they're talking about. Just like we don't really know what we're talking about when it comes to Cat and Alex. Just like
That's
people
fair.
only saw a little sliver of our lives. We only saw one side of somebody's story for 3 weeks. And like the point, I mean, at the end of the day, nobody has the whole picture. Obviously, I think we both wish them the best. I don't enjoy seeing people going through anguish. And if they can have a happy, healthy relationship, I mean, Godspeed, go for it. Happy for you.
What's next for you guys? Are we planning a long engagement, short engagement? Do you have a wedding date set?
We have a wedding date set.
You do?
Oh.
All right.
And I'll be sure to get up off the couch when her dad gets there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need that fix. That really bothered me. That keeps me up at night.
I forgot about that.
When Roxanne's dad said that he comes over to the house and he's over there gaming and he doesn't meet him at the door, I would have drop kicked you off a bridge.
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but he wasn't talking about me.
Oh.
Who are we
We can't
talking
throw
about?
anyone under the bus, but he was not talking about Antonio. So we're like,
we can
wow,
throw
that's
people under the
wild.
bus.
That's crazy. That's what they got from that's
Like,
what people will think.
The video games are such a non-issue. Like it has never even been like
It was.
well, not in that context. Like,
It was. Hold on.
Wait, so
Not in that
who were we talking about?
Was this like an ex?
Like an ex situation.
let's
so
say it was an ex.
Yeah.
A situation
We're
ship.
gonna leave it at that. It was an ex.
Oh, when is the wedding date
October 12th.
October, yeah.
of 2024?
Yes,
year.
God.
Next
Oh,
year.
I was like,
Oh,
wow.
All
Feelings
right.
have changed
Surprise.
very fast.
Yeah, well, like, wow. Shame
In the-
really works. Yeah.
In the fight
Right?
with Alex, watching it back, did you feel you handled that in a way you're proud of? Because I felt like you handled that probably the best anyone could have with someone speaking to you that way.
I actually loved watching the fight back. That was like the one scene. I was like, okay, if that
Run it back.
I did. I said, rewind. Rewind. What do I have? A VCR? No, I liked it. I thought that I was calm, which I try really hard to be calm and direct. And I thought he was being extremely rude. And I didn't like the way he was talking to me. And I talked to so many women, as many as I could in my DMs about that fight and how they all were like, I don't think once in my life I've been able to stick up for myself when a guy was talking to me like that in a relationship. And I have rewatched that scene to pick up tips from you and how you compose yourself in a fight where you're being disrespected. And I thought that was badass. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
never, ever let someone disrespect you, a guy or a girl,
Yeah.
like,
No, I
stick
think
up for
that's
yourself.
amazing. I think for you to be able to say, like, you cannot walk all over me, like, I am not weak, I think was
Yeah.
so strong and so powerful. I really respect you for that. That was amazing.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
We talk about the running. How far was the run?
Yeah. How
How
long,
long
were
was
you
the run?
Yeah, that was a real like a Tom.
Have you been
that was
training
like a
for this?
Tom Cruise sprint.
Like, I want to put it on like the TikTok
So-
noise where it's like.
He didn't know where I was, y'all.
I didn't know where
he had
she
to
was.
find my apartment.
So what did you
Yeah.
knock on every door
So
in the middle
so
of the
the
night?
reason I started
It's like Love
running is-
Actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty dramatic. I mean, basically, I highly underestimated the mobility of the camera people. And I like went down a flight of stairs and I was like, no shot they make it down the flight of stairs like this
yeah.
calendar day. And so I was just like strolling down the street, like I got all the time in the world. And next thing I know, I hear like the door shut behind me and the whole camera team is downstairs. And I was like, oh my God, like, no way. Like, I don't want them to stop me from going and finding Roxanne. So I just took off. And I knew that all of our apartments that we were living in had Nest cams on the balconies. So I just went around the back of the complex looking for a balcony with a Nest cam. And I was like, well, I'll start at that one. And I found one, and the first one was hers. So,
And then the doormat, you said.
and oh yeah, and everyone had like the same doormat too. So I went inside and then confirmed that same door had a doormat. So
Did the doormat say anything about like working or anything?
I said, we only work in this apartment.
Yeah.
Enter at your own risk.
yes, hard hats required.
People working. Did you guys sneak around and communicate with each other in the trial marriages portion?
We texted. Yeah, we texted here and there. Everyone did. I will say everyone texted each other. It was a really tough 3 weeks, but you can't. I mean, when you're filming, they take your phone away and you're filming all the time. Like when you're out on the dates and doing, all kinds of stuff, you don't even have your phone. They put in a little envelope and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But here and there, like, you doing good or like, stuff like that. You okay? And usually the response is, no, I'm not good. This is super stressful. Stuff like that.
Did Alex ever clean a toilet?
I don't know. I don't think so, y'all. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I don't remember now, but I don't think so. But don't hold me accountable for that.
Kids was a kind of a conversation that you guys talked about. Roxanne, Antonio, like, where are you guys at with that? Because it kind of almost came across as you guys not totally being on the same page when it came to kids.
Funny that the kids thing was a pivotal thing in our relationship. I think it was like the catalyst that kind of started our growth and us taking each other like as serious partners. We had a pregnancy scare, and my financial situation was that I wasn't going to be able to contribute like at all. And so, she kind of had like a come to Jesus moment where she was like, I don't know if I can be with somebody who like, I gotta, like, she's going to have the kid, like, how's it's going to be a lot harder for her to work and have an income, and just having that security of a partner that can take care of you is, I think every woman has the right to want that, and I kind of had to do some self-reflection, like, dang, man, like, I'm just living for myself right now. And I know I want to have a family, and I knew I loved her, and I knew I wanted to have a family with her.
And same.
Yeah.
For the record, I never not wanted kids.
Mm-hmm.
The marriage
and
thing
we stayed together despite, her realizing that I wasn't where she needed me to be. And she, she never didn't believe in me. And I think there's a lot of respect in that, like, she trusted a little bit. She thought it was possible, at least, that I could, bridge that gap. So as far as kids go,
I was wanting kids.
Yeah.
Always. I just didn't know about the marriage thing. And what's weird, I was like, I'll have kids and not be married. Like, it's whatever. Again, 2023, kind of make your own rules right now. And I've always wanted them. Always.
Was this pregnancy scare prior to filming or after?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a year probably, maybe more.
No, it was like
2
when we first met, kind of. Yeah.
Oh, it was right when we started dating. That's right.
Time flies when you're in your 30s.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you guys handle conflict now? In the sense that, Roxanne, if there are moments where you just kind of feel like Antonio is not as ambitious as you want him to be in a certain instance, how do you handle that now versus you had in the past? And Antonio, after Roxanne answers, if you feel like Roxanne is being maybe a little too harsh or judgmental, how do you communicate that feeling? How do you guys work through that? Because no matter how hard you guys work, you kind of are who you are. And so this will probably be, I'm guessing, something you guys will always have to address from time to time.
For real, that is a thing that still pops up here and there. And it is, you do have to address it because at the end of the day, like you said, I am who I am, right? So when there are times where I get nervous, like, is he still doing what he said? We do address it differently because things are different. He has a full-on business now. He made that huge step that I needed, that huge act to show me, look, I do want this kind of relationship with you. Like we talked about years ago, we are going to be equals in every part of our relationship. And I have done that step. So that step alone has helped. But some days, because we are who we are, I'll be like getting nervous about a couple things here and there. And I tell him, look, for me to just feel like we're still on track here and everything's good, just show me, remind me of some things going on. Tell me timelines. Tell me a couple of the goals we got going on the next couple of weeks for the business. Just that's what I need. I just need to see these tangible things to be reminded and trust him. Like, all right, everything's good. But since the business happened, it's like a weight's off my shoulder. Like, this shit's rolling. And it's really nice because I don't feel like now I'm taking on the burden of all the financial stuff plus all the household stuff. It truly is becoming equal. It's badass, and everyone, like, you can't have this equal relationship where you do everything. Well, that is what we wanted. And that is what we're working towards and getting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's awesome.
It's awesome. Where can people get their car wash, Antonio?
Down in Tyrone, Georgia. Come on.
Tyrone, Georgia? All right.
Yeah.
Are you familiar
it's
with
like 30
Tyrone,
minutes
Georgia?
south of downtown Atlanta.
Oh, okay. I'm from Savannah, Georgia.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah,
no way.
go.
I didn't know that.
We go every year.
Yeah, we go every year.
Fun.
Awesome. But what's the name of your car wash? Tell people.
Yeah, so it's going to be called Tint World, and I emphasize the TINT because everyone thinks I say Tit World or Tent.
Honestly,
World.
in Georgia, that might sell.
Yeah.
Titties and tints. Yeah. It's a pretty good combo, I can imagine.
We got
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's,
Yeah, you already got
that's-
that.
We got that. Yeah.
That's our combo.
Yeah. So it'll be called Tint World. Right now, it is still branded as Reflections Car Wash in Tyrone, Georgia, off Highway 74. Come say what's up.
And how often are you there?
Every single day.
Really? Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
10%
except
off
for
with
today.
code VIALL, or
Yeah.
do you?
Yeah. Yeah. Say code Viall at checkout for a punch card that you can redeem a free car wash on your 10th wash.
There you go.
Yes,
All
10th
right.
watch.
I'm shocked y'all don't want to bring anything up about everyone shitting on my business. God, the hate.
They're
Y'all wanna
shitting
talk
on your
about- I'm
business.
like, I have so
business
many
is a
hate things.
business.
What is your
You're
what
a
is
CEO.
what is your
It's
business?
My
Triple
favorite is
cover.
like
What's your
the way
business?
she talks about her business. I thought she was Elon
Elon
Musk.
Musk.
Come to find out, she just sells
That's
plastic titty covers.
That's my favorite. Everyone's like, we thought she was breaking science. I was like, I wish.
Oh, that's just the internet being whatever. You just work
Yeah.
hard or something.
Yeah.
And what is you do, Roxanne?
I just sell a braless alternative.
You
The
sell what?
braless
Like
alternative
sticky
is
boobs,
really
like-
nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
What a great market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Must be.
But also, y'all, 2 full-time jobs. Everyone thought I was only working one on the show, so everyone was making fun of me
So you don't have to justify
with the
it,
whole reunion montage of me working all the time.
yeah. What is your other job?
I still do IT consulting. I'm
Awesome.
still a IT consultant for software for retail.
I can promise you, Roxanne, if the worst thing that happens to you on reality TV is them mocking your work ethic, you're winning. You're doing just fine.
And my lips, Nick. Come on, they're also mocking my lips. Let's be real here.
Don't read it. Stop reading it.
Yeah, you guys are you guys
cannot
reading the
read it.
internet?
At first, I
Yeah,
was
not
like,
more.
how could they? Oh my God. But
Oh
now
my god, you got to
I
stop.
couldn't-
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't be more unbothered by it.
What is one bit of advice you guys would have for any couple that sees themselves in the two of you? What advice would you give to the two of them?
Quit lying to yourself about why you aren't where you need to be.
There you go.
Because I promise you, it's probably not the outside world. It's probably you.
What about you, Roxanne?
I would say sometimes a lot of people bend to their partner's wants and needs. So our situation, what we want is really unique and different for our relationship. And what they need to do first is really figure out if that's what they want personally. Like, do you really want that for yourself? Not for your partner, because first you got to figure out, is that what I want for myself? Like, do I want this equal type of relationship? Do I want someone who is this or that? That's step number one, because if you don't figure out what you want for yourself, it will never work. You got to figure out what you want for yourself, make sure that's a right type of situation or relationship for you, and then move forward and be very open and honest. This is what I want and this is what I need, and move from there. Otherwise, I just don't think it'll happen. It'll work out. And we've been very open and honest with each other on what we want and what we need in our relationship.
And also go to therapy.
Are you guys in therapy?
Yeah.
Oh, good for
Yeah.
you guys. Round of applause. We love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're both avid therapy goers since before we got together, and now we go to a couples therapist.
Good for you
Shout out,
guys.
Laura.
We love that. Good for you guys. Roxanne, would you stop and help Alex and or Kat on the side of the road if they had a flat tire?
It depends what was happening on the side of the road.
It depends.
It depends. What if they're just having a sandwich on the side of the road?
No, they're flat tire. They're waving. They're asking for help, and it's just Alex actually, as
Yes, I would help him.
begrudgingly.
I would help him though. I would say, Alex,
Get your tire.
move. I got the tire.
Go clean the toilet.
I
She
will
would just
say-
call Antonio and he'd come running
Yeah.
like around the corner.
That's my man.
I will say I'm really glad y'all did this. I feel like I saw a whole new side of the two of you, especially Antonio. And I can see how and why Roxanne fell in love with you. I really like the person that I see today.
Thank you so much. We're really thankful. I can't tell you how thankful we are that y'all, invited us to be on this and get a chance to really speak our side and our truth. So we're so grateful.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming on. Congratulations on the wedding date, setting the wedding date, and big congrats to that. And when October 20.
Let's just get to it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We will.
Now Antonio's like, relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
So like, I hope, I got this. I got a year. Like, it's all good.
Yeah. We'll get it planned.
Who is going to do the wedding planning? Why do I feel like Antonio?
No, that's
God,
another
no.
funny misconception.
God,
I do all the planning.
Yeah, she's a calendar maker for
I'm,
sure.
Yeah.
I'm the errand person.
Okay.
What is your sign?
Sagittarius.
Leo.
I only know
Yeah.
Virgo. That's why. So if you were
Yeah.
gonna say that, I'd be like,
I would have.
oh my God,
I would have
same.
assumed Virgo. Yeah, yeah.
I said Sag. You're like, anyways.
I was like, all right, moving on. Next question.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Where can people follow you? All that fun stuff.
Ricky Rocks. Ricky, like it's like Rick Ross. Ricky Rocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
RICKYROX _
Underscore. Yeah. And mine is A Matei number 2. MATTEI.
That's us.
Okay.
Amazing.
Well, good
We're
luck
official.
finding them
We have
on the
blue check
ground.
marks.
Ooh, yeah, good luck.
Well, congratulations, guys. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you. We appreciate it. Best of luck to the both of you, and take care. We look forward to after the final altar, or if they decide to still do that. I don't know if they're still doing that.
Right. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Take
Y'all
care.
have a great week.
You too.
Bye, y'all.
Okay. Well, I had the same opinion about Antonio and Roxanne, I guess, as Alex and Kat, which is maybe those two couples just were not meant to hang out with each other. But they, as individuals, as individual couples, they seem fine. What did
There's
we
a
think?
wedding date on the books,
there's a wedding
clearly. Yeah. Well, and Roxanne even said she was like, we would not be engaged if we hadn't done the show, which I think is really cool.
I mean, listen, Roxanne, even at times in this interview, like, I think that was a question I didn't ask her. Like, does she have a fear of commitment or a fear of Antonio or a fear of committing to Antonio? She's still like, when she's joking sometimes, but even when talking about the wedding date, she'll make this face of like,
Hope I can get there.
hope I can get there, and
Yeah.
like the impression I get, I think it's not so much Antonio. I think it's more her.
But the fact that they've set a wedding date
Just at a wedding date.
And
Is
she's
a
going to be the
great
one to
sign.
plan it.
and she's wearing
She's
her
wearing the
ring.
ring.
She's
Yeah.
wearing her ring.
Rings.
Ring.
Plural.
Rings.
Yeah.
That's a stack.
That pregnancy scare thing, I think, is a lot more
Yeah, it's
meaningful.
a legitimate reason to kind of be nervous about your partner.
Well, not only that, it showed some resilience of the couple. Like, despite whatever they say about each other or how they're perceived to be, this clearly is a couple that has weathered a couple storms, and Roxanne is still with Antonio, so she clearly does believe in him on some level. So I feel like this experience was a positive one for actually both of these couples in a crazy way. You
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought that.
I really do believe them when they say they took this experience very seriously, because even after the fight, when Antonio showed up and was like, let's just leave, let's just be done, she still wanted to stay despite living with someone who
Yeah.
could talk to her the way Alex did. You
Yeah.
know, she was still like, no, like, let's just stick it out. Let's stay. So I believe that they really did take this as serious as they possibly could.
And they kind of acknowledged a little bit of credit to Alex by not, I was actually surprised and almost impressed. It's not easy to acknowledge that despite what Alex said being as hard as it was, that he wasn't totally off or wasn't totally wrong for saying what he said. And they both, Roxanne and Antonio, kind of own that. So
Antonio kept being like, which I thought was funny. He was like, it's not that there was disrespect. There was a lack of respect.
Respect.
And it's like, isn't that not the same thing?
I mean, whatever.
Are those
Listen,
not
not
synonyms?
easy. But they still owned it.
Yeah.
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 It's not easy to come on and talk about your relationship like that. I mean, anyways, but I think the biggest takeaway is I shockingly feel like both of these couples are glad they did it, and the relationship seems to be more advanced than it otherwise would. And it's not something you usually say about reality TV shows. So there you go.
Slay.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this episode. We're back on Thursday. Be sure to check that out. Don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com. Also, don't forget to check out Viall Files Plus. We have a bunch of update specials available to you. We are recapping Vanderpump. I think we're all the way up to season 2 right now. We dropped recaps of episode 1 through 3 on season 2. We've done season 1 already. So if you are going back and watching Vanderpump like many of us are doing after becoming super fans of season 10, be sure to check that out. Just go to viallfiles.com. It's a 7-day free trial. I think that's it. Bye. See you Thursday.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.